Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I'm Miss Lisa, and this is my YouTube channel for everything I want to talk about math and science. And today we're learning how to use our TI-84 graphing calculator to get a quadratic curve now from some points. Now, the way, if you're following along with the Algebra 1 class, what you're going to be doing is this calculator lab that's on page 525. Now, you don't have to be taking Algebra 1 or using this book to learn this skill. Now, let me explain to you how the book presents it, and then I'll show you what it's really good for. Okay, so the book presents it like this. You've got this data, you put it in your calculator, and it will plot it as points, and then you can figure out from the points what the best fitting line is. And so they give you different, a bunch of different points like that. And that's a little bit useful. We used it a little bit in my physics class to come up with an equation that went with some of our data, but you really don't use that very often. I'm a science and math teacher. I do science and math all the time, and it is just a rare occasion that we use our calculators to do this with it. But this is what it's good for. You don't have to have all this data. If you just have 2 or 3 points, and you are given an equation where you're supposed to take those 2 or 3 points and figure out the equation that goes with it, that's a classic algebra problem that you might be given. And it's a lot of math, and it's a big old pain. But if you just have any points at all, you can come up with the equation that goes with those points for its quadratic equation. And that's what it's really good for. That is a big, ugly problem where they give you a few points and you're supposed to back figure it to figure out what the line is. They really like it in Algebra 1 when it's a straight line. They'll give you 2 points and you have to figure out the line by figuring out the slope and then plugging in something for A and B and then solving for X. It's just a big old pain. So this works with anything. Anything where you're given points and you're supposed to come up with the equation, as long as you know what kind of equation it's supposed to be. It would only take a few points and you could figure this out. Now, if they give you a lot of points, they don't even have to tell you what kind of equation it's supposed to be, because you can look at it. You can look at these points and tell that this is going to be quadratic, that it's half of a parabola, that classic parabola shape. You know what it's going to be. But you will use this skill throughout the rest of your algebra. You will do all kinds of, this is called a regression. It means you're given points and you're going to regress to the formula. And they make you do it in all different situations. And once you've got this skill, you can apply it to all of them. And it's just a beautiful time-saving thing that's pretty fun. All right, so let's do one. We'll do the example one. So turn on your calculator. I have stuff going on here. I need to get rid of that. So I'm going to go to y equals, use my clear button and clear out what's in there. Okay, now I'm going to quit off of that. Second mode is quit. And I'm going to go to this button that says stat. And I want to put in my points. So I select number 1, edit, I hit enter. I've got points already in here I need to get rid of. I'm going to go over here and start deleting them. See, delete, but be careful. If your cursor is up on L1 or L2, you'll delete the whole list. Now, you can get it back by going to Stat Setup, but it's easier to not delete it in the first place than have to restore it, okay? So I'm going to hit delete over and over again until that column's gone. I've got arrow over here and hit delete over and over again until that column's gone. If you have anything else, you need to get rid of that too. Everything needs to be empty. Okay, time is going to be my x's, so I'm going to put in these first. Okay, so 0.0, I could just put 0. It doesn't really make any difference. It puts it here down the bottom. You hit enter and it pops it up there. See, like they got rid of those points. Right, my next one is 0.04. So I don't have to do the 0. I can just put 0.04, enter, and it pops it up there. 0.12. Now, if we were in class together, I do this with students all the time, we would all be putting in our points together, and all the students would do it faster than me. So sorry that I am slow. I'm a little slow putting in my points. So you'll get done faster than me, but that's all right. 0.41. Okay, I think I got them all in. Now I'm going to arrow over to the other column and start putting in the heights for my y-axis. So I've got 5.23, 5.16, 4.85, 4.63, 4.20, you really don't have to put that 0, 3.85, 3.23, 2.77, and 1.89. And what I said before, you don't have to have this many points. You can do this with 3 points, and you can come up with your parabola. Okay, so I've got all of my data in, and we could go ahead and do the linear regression and get the line, but they want us to first plot this as points. So I'm going to go quit out of this, second quit. And now I want to go up here where it says stat plot. There's more than one way to get there, but I'm going to do second y equals, and there it is. Do you see how that's off? I want to turn it on. So I'm going to hit enter. And now what I want it to be is little dots. So I'm going to, well, first I got to go over to on, hit enter. Now I want to make it dots, so I'm going to go there and hit enter. They are asking us, do we want to use list 1 and 2 for our graph? Yes, that sounds good. Do we want our marks to look like that? Sure, why not? And do we want the color blue? Why not? Sounds good. Now, I'm going to just try graphing it and see how it shows up. Oh, there they are. They're kind of all squished together, but there they are, little dots all close together. So it would be better if I spread it out more. So I'm going to go to my window, and I want to change my my window to be more spread out. So I want the y scale to be less than 1. I mean my x scale. I want my x scale to be more spread out. So I'm going to try a 0.1. Let's see what that does. It spread it a little bit, but not too good. And let's zoom in some more. I'm going to go back to my window. I'm going to make my see, if you look at my x's, the maximum is less than 1. So I'm going to make my x, my minimum, I don't need it to be, it could just be 0. All these numbers are positive. My max, I'm going to make 1. I'm going to have my scale 0.1. That'll spread it out. My y minimum, I don't have any negative numbers, so I'm going to make it 0. My max, my biggest y is 5.23. So 10 is all right. And the y scale's all right. Let's try it again. Oh, that looks so much better. What a good looking half of a parabola. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to get the line to make it a solid line. And to do that, I have to get my equation. So I'm going to quit out of this, and I'm going to go back to stat, and I'm going to go to calculate. And then, do you see how there's linear regression? That would give me the equation if it's a line, but it's a quadratic equation. I could tell by that parabola shape, and I'm going to do a quadratic regression. So I'm going to select that. It asks us, do we want to use our x's list 1, our y's list 2? We do. And now we go down and tell it to calculate and hit enter. And they tell us that in this quadratic equation that a would be negative 16. Let me get my notebook here so I can write this. It's more fun with sound effects. Okay, so my equation is, let's get a different pen here. X squared plus something times x squared, and they're putting a for the coefficient of x squared, plus b, some coefficient of x, plus c, our bare number, equals y. And they tell us that our a is equal to negative 16.8 and a bunch of other gobbledygook. We're just going to say 16.8 x squared plus our b is, well, we'll make it negative because our b is negative. So we'll do minus 0.897 x plus c, our bare number, is 5.2, we'll say 5.22. So now we have an equation that we're going to go back and put in y equals. So I'm going to go back to my equation, and I'm going to put in y equals 5.22 and 5.22. So now we have an equation that we're going to go back and put in y equals. So it's negative, you always use negative here at the bottom at the beginning of an equation, negative 16.8 x squared minus in the middle, you can remember that because they both start with the m, minus 0.897x, and then plus 5.22. So that's my equation. Now, my window, I know, is all, it should be good because we had it before for this. So right here, I've got the color blue. So I should have blue dots, and then it puts a blue line through it. Let's see. Ta-da! It did it. So we can see our line fits our point really well. So what you're going to do is you're going to do 1 and then your answer 3. But remember, what this is really useful for is if they just give you like 3 points and you have to make a quadratic equation. Let me see if I see any problems like that in the book. And then you can use this instead. Let's see if I've got any more here. I know they make you do it in Algebra 2. They might not make you do it in Algebra 1. So anyway, that's what it's really good for. There are math problems out there where they will give you just 3 points, and then you have to use algebra to get the line, but you can do this instead. All right, so this is pretty fun. See you later. Math is great. Like, share, subscribe. See you soon.